Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. I am Bernice Abubedulansa. This morning, the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, and their Non-Teaching Staff Association are on strike. These two unions are protesting what they say is the failure of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to make available to them a draft memorandum of understanding for their earlier negotiations. Now, the groups are also asking for equality in the disbursement of fuel, vehicle maintenance, and off-campus allowances. We'll hear from them on the show shortly. Prince Obinghima is National CETAG President, and he's joined us for a conversation. But before that, let me just bring you some details of this reactivation of indefinite strike letter. And it reads, following the joint communique issued by CETAG and CENTSAG on Sunday, 6 November 2022, giving the employer 5 crucial working days to address our concerns, failure of which we shall reactivate our suspended indefinite strikes, the National Councils of both CETAG and CENTSAG held separate emergency meetings on Friday 11th and Saturday 12th November 2022 respectively, and affirmed the decision to reactivate our suspended indefinite industrial action effective Monday, 14th November 2022. Our decision to withdraw our services indefinitely is as a result of the following. I'll just pick a few of them. The first one, failure of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to make available to CETAG and CENTSAG draft memorandum of agreement, which clearly captures what the parties mutually agreed on at the end of our negotiations for us to study before proceeding to sign off. It says a unilateral variation of the effective date of CETAG's 2021 conditions of service by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission from 1st January 2022 to 1st January 2023, contrary to the rules of engagement for the negotiations. Skip to 5. An unfair retrospective deduction of office holding allowances paid to some members of CENTSAG and CETAG by the Controller and Accountants General Department, and a deliberate variation of fuel, vehicle maintenance, and off-campus allowances of CETAG and CENTSAG members as compared to our counterparts in other analogous institutions in the face of rising cost of fuel prices in the country. Like I mentioned, we have President of CETAG, Mr. Obinghima, joining us for the conversation. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining the program.
Good morning.
Right. So, just to start off this conversation, CETAG was supposed to give you an the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission was supposed to give you an MOU. They didn't do that. Did you reach out to them to find out why?
Let me say good morning to you, and then your platform being so big, I know the entire nation is listening to you. Members of CETAG and non-teaching staff across the 46 public colleges of education should be doing the listening. Indeed, it's true that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission availed to us MOU, but we realized that the MOU did not reflect what we had agreed on during the negotiations. So that is why we think they have not been fair to us, and we couldn't have signed that because we couldn't have negotiated something and you give us a different MOU altogether to sign. Particularly when we are talking about 2022 conditions of service, which ought to have started in January 2022, something we started in August 2021. And for no reason or no fault of CETAG, it had to drag on up to a couple of weeks ago. When we finished and you tell us that unilaterally, you've decided to peg the effective date on January 2023, question out the whole of 2022, I think it's unfair. And it's against the rules of engagement that we signed prior to the negotiations.
Right.
Yes.
So my question to you is that you were negotiating with your employer through the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. You gave an ultimatum, you were given an MOU. The MOU didn't capture all that you had agreed on during the meeting. Did you go back to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission before reactivating your suspended strike?
But they sent us a letter wanting to engage us. But the spirit of the letter created an impression like engaging us in further negotiation. When indeed we had documents, we have audio recordings, we have minutes to prove that negotiation had ended. The state that we find ourselves in doesn't require any form of negotiation. It just requires the people giving us MOA, which is, part of the things we've been doing over the years. At the end of the negotiation, there should be MOA signed by the two parties, which will spell out the roadmap that will lead to the payment of what we have negotiated for. That's where we are. So to create the impression that you are engaging us for another negotiation, for us, it's just to engage us so that only God knows when that engagement will end. And we think in the face of the Biden economy, we shouldn't accept that.
So if I get you clearly, Mr. Obinghima, you are not ready to sit over a matter that has been discussed already. You just want that memorandum of agreement to be adjusted, as you say, according to what was agreed, then the parties can sign.
Exactly so. That is what we want. Because where we are, we don't need roundtable negotiation. What we need is clear MOU that captures the spirit and what I feel that we have all negotiated for, so that we can have a look at it. We have said they could even send us a draft of what they want us to sign. We'll look at it. If it really reflects the interest, we've done it before, we can sign a portion, send it through courier service. They would also have theirs signed. And then we take it from there. On the issue of the all-year-round teaching, which is also another big issue on the table, you recall that a couple of months ago, we went on leave and block, which became news because it had never happened in the tertiary space. Our argument had been that you were using the teachers throughout the year, which grossly violated our rights as union members. Because we don't have enough facilities, the students are put into two groups. At any point in time, one group is in school, they finish their academic work on Friday. On Sunday, the other group at home can't take their position. And it's the same teachers you use in them. So when we discussed and it became clear that we were on a legitimate course and that we had to apply to the ministry, we did that through PENCOF, through GTEC. We have followed through, and PENCOF and GTEC have since forwarded our letter, put covering letter on it, and sent to the ministry. We are yet to get response, and we cannot continue along that tangent. So this one too doesn't require any meeting. We think it's a matter of the ministry writing to the Ministry of Finance and liaising with the Comptroller and Accountant General for them to effect payment to hit our account. So those are the issues.
Right. Mr. Obinghima, I haven't heard from the employment minister on your particular issues, but your other colleagues who teach at the basic and senior high school levels just resumed from a strike. And he's been trying to talk them out of such action by suggesting that their concerns are legitimate, but the times are hard, and that groups like yourself should also take into cognizance the current economic crisis, what government is going through. I'm sure such similar arguments may be raised concerning your strike. What is your response to that?
Whoever says the nation is not in serious or messy economic situation might be, a hypocrite. We all have made the situation we find ourselves in. But let us also be, truthful to ourselves. That the laws of Ghana, the very constitution, 1992 constitution that binds all of us together, front and against any form of discrimination. In the face of the economic situation that we find ourselves in, we cannot say that there is a group of, or a group of workers exists without conditions of service. And let me even be more direct. The people who are representing government in all the things we are doing, in all the discussions we have, none of them would say they have no conditions of service. We are part of the members of the tertiary space. There isn't any group within the space that has no condition of service. So to single us out, and I'm not sure the employment ministry that has always been fair will come out with this argument. To single us out and say that, for instance, fuel allocation that has been agreed upon to be given to members in the tertiary space, so they will be able to transport themselves to and from their houses, workplaces, shouldn't be given us because we are in dire economic situation. I'm not sure they will say that. I'm not sure they will say we shouldn't have conditions of service at all, just like, or just the way others are having On contrary to what our colleagues are having because we are dire economic consequence. I'm not sure anybody will move that argument. But that will amount to total discrimination, which the 1992 Constitution emboldens us to, as it were, reject and fight against it.
So, if I get you clearly once again, CETAG and CENTSAG members do not have any conditions of service. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we are on a tight conditions of service. So we do not have, not until we have finished negotiating what ought to have started in 2022, January, we do not have conditions of service for the record.
Right. So I'm assuming this morning we are stepping out to the various colleges of education to assess the mood and see the impact of your strike. But do I get a confirmation from you that all your members are on strike effective today?
We have done the monitoring. My zonal chairpersons across the 5 zones, the northern, the central, western, Ashanti, Volta, Eastern, Greater Accra. This morning, we've been in touch with all of them. And I wish to commend the gallant members of CETAG and CENTSAG for, following through with the directives and compliance. I can assure you that apart from the security personnel who are entrusted with the responsibility of protecting lives and property, the entire staff in the College of Education are on strike, and it's happening.
Right. We appreciate your time here this morning. Prince Obinghima is National President of CETAG, and he's been speaking on behalf of CENTSAG as well. The two groups have declared a strike effective today. In fact, it is a reactivation of their indefinite strike, and it's over various issues, including conditions of service, fuel, and off-campus allowances. We'll be monitoring this closely and let you know how it goes. We're hoping to get a response from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission because they have a major role to play in all of this. The group accuses them of not including all the issues that were deliberated on in the memorandum of agreement for which they've decided to go on strike. Mr. Hima tells us unless that is rectified, they will not go back to the classroom. So we will keep trying to reach the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and furnish you on all the details that we receive from them.